Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. And I'm going to do this lesson titled, My People Have Forgotten Me. And I'm going to start with 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 2 through 4. And it reads, Preach the word, be instant, in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long-suffering and doctrine. So this is Timothy. He's saying this is how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. We're supposed to preach the word. He said be instant, in season and out of season, reproving. So we're supposed to correct people. We're supposed to rebuke when needed, exhort one another with all long-suffering and doctrine. Verse 3, For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. So he's saying how they're not going to want to hear the doctrine that Yahweh Shai laid down from the foundation of the world. Some people aren't going to want to hear that, but they're going to want to hear what they want to hear. They'll have itching ears and they'll have selective hearing what they want. And then verse 4 reads, And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. So this is an interesting passage there. And this sounds like what a lot of people are doing. They're rejecting the truth, and they're wanting to have selective hearing. And from there, I'm going to go to the book of 1 Peter. I'll go to 1 Peter. And I passed it. 1 Peter, and I'm going to read chapter 4, verse 11. And it reads, If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahweh. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Yahweh giveth, that Yahweh in all things may be glorified through Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So if we're going to speak, he said this is what we're supposed to speak. He says we're supposed to speak the oracles of Yahweh. And this is, so what the problem is, a lot of people don't want to hear what the Most High Yahweh, the one God, the one that created the heavens and the earth, has to say. It's not us who they're having a problem with. It's really the Most High. And from there, I'm going to go to the prophet Jeremiah. And I'm going to go with chapter 1. And I'm going to start at verse 4. And it reads, Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, verse 5, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of thy womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So we had nothing to do with this. The Most High, he chose who he wanted, which was Yasharallah, and he chose the people that's going to do this work. Verse 6, Then said I, Lord, Yahweh, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. So Jeremiah was like, I don't know what to go out and say. And this is what the Lord said. Verse 7, But the Lord said unto me, Say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. And that's what we're gonna do. We're going to speak the oracles. This is what he commanded. And from there, I'm going to go to the book of Ezekiel. I'm going to go to chapter 3. The prophet Ezekiel, chapter 3. And I'm going to read verse 1. I'm going to read verses 1 through 5. And it reads, Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll. So he's telling us to eat the scriptures. He's to study to show ourselves approved. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read this word, put it in our spirit, and start to apply it. Let me start at verse Ezekiel 3, starting at 1 again. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Yasharallah. Verse 2, So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. Verse 3, And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll, that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And the more you get into the word, you're going to see that and taste that the Lord is good. Verse 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. So that's what I'm doing. And that's what he commanded us to do, to speak our words unto Yasharallah. Verse 5. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. So this is what he commanded. And from there, I'm going to go to the words of Yahushai in John 15, and I'm going to read verse 16. And it reads, You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you that you should go out, Salakia, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. So if you're doing the things that's pleasing in his sight, then he's going to open the floodgates for you. If you're being obedient, because that's what Yahushua was. He was obedient. And from there, I'm going to go back to 1 Peter. Go back to 1 Peter and chapter 3. I'm going to read verse 15 through 17, and it reads, But sanctify the Lord Yahweh in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you, with meekness and fear. So the only way you're going to be able to do this is be ready to give an answer to every man or woman is if you're studying. You have to read the Bible so that you can have the answer with the precepts. We have to give them the precepts. Verse 16. Having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as of the evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in Hamashiach Yahushai. So if they are accusing you for speaking this word, which is Yahweh's words, he's going to put them to shame, he said. Verse 17, For it is better if the will of Yahweh be so that you suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing. And I'm just going to read the next one, verse 18. For Christ also had once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to Yahweh, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. So he was put to death in that flesh, and he was changed in the Spirit. So this is what happens when we get into the Word. This is what quickens you. This is what changes you. And from there, I'm going to go back to the prophet Jeremiah. I'm going to be bringing out a few in Jeremiah. Jeremiah 2, chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 32 through 35. And it reads, Can a maid forget her ornaments, or her bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me days without number. This is what the prophet Jeremiah was saying, but it was Yahushua speaking, because he said, I come in the volume of the book. It was written to me to do thy will, O my God, Yahweh. Verse 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So when our people don't want to do it the way he said from the foundation, they're trimming their way to seek they're going committing whoredom, getting into idolatry, following all these other doctrines. That's what he's saying here. And verse 34 reads, Also in thy skirts is found the blood of the souls of the poor innocent. Because he said in Matthew 5, Blessed is the poor in spirit. He said, Blessed is the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. We are the poor. We are the meek. Yasharallah is those people. Let me read 34 again. Also in thy skirts is found the blood of the souls of the poor, innocent. I have not found it by secret search, but upon all these. Because there is nothing secret and nothing hidden from his sight. Everything is open to the naked eyes of him, like he said in Hebrews. And we all are going to have to give an account. Verse 35. Yet thou sayest, because I am innocent, Surely his anger shall not turn from me. And he said, behold, I will plead with thee, because thou sayest, I have not sinned. So we can't say we haven't sinned. And Apostle Paul, he summed it up in Romans chapter 3. He said, we've all sinned and come short of the glory. So we can't say we haven't. But the thing is to turn back to your first love and stop the sinning. And from there, I'm going to go over to stay in Jeremiah chapter 4. And I'm going to read verse 21 through 22. And he reads, how long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? So the Lord is asking, how long is he going to have to look at this? All this stuff, this iniquity, all the things that's not pleasing in his sight. Verse 22, for my people is found, Salakia, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. And sottish just means stupid. And they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. He says our people always want to do all this stuff that they're pushing in this society, but to do good, they have no knowledge. Because the fear of the Lord is where you're going to get the wisdom, by getting it to these precepts. This is where you're going to get the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. It's all from him. And from there, I'm gonna go to chapter 5 in Jeremiah, in verse 21. And I'm going to read to 29, and it reads, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Fear ye not me, saith the Lord. Will you not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea, by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it? He's saying how he made the ocean and how he does the waves and sends them back and forth. And they won't transgress his word. They're going to do the waves, they obey him. And then it says that it cannot pass it, and though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. Because he's not allowing them. They're doing it exactly how he commanded. Verse 23, but this people hath a revolted and a rebellious heart. They have revolted and gone. He's saying how they've gone backwards and not forward. That's what he's saying with the gone. Verse 24, neither say they in their heart, let us now fear the Lord our God Yahweh, that giveth rain, both the former and the latter. He gives, because he declares the end from the beginning. He's the one that's doing everything. Let me read that part again. That giveth rain, both the former and the latter, in his seasons. He reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. And everything comes in its appointed time from him. Remember, every good gift and every perfect gift comes from above. It's all from him. Verse 25, your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you. So this is what he said. This is why our people are going through it. Verse 26, for among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait, as he that setteth snares. They set a trap. They catch men. So the Lord has everything figured out. And then verse 27, as a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. He says our houses have been full of lies and deceit. Therefore they are become great and waxen rich. They've waxen rich with the abundance of all these delicacies of all what this society has to offer. They're not doing it the way he said, though. Verse 28. They are waxen fat. They shine. Yeah, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause of the fatherless. Yet they prosper, and the right of the needy do they not judge. Because they're not doing it the way he said from the foundation. And this is getting into the Sunday churches too, how those pastors aren't bringing the truth to the congregations. And this is happening with Yasharallah too. We have to bring it the way it's written. Verse 29, shall I not visit for these things, saith the Lord? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? This is why he said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and I'll repay. That's what it says in Hebrews. He said it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living Yahweh. And from there, I'm going to go to Jeremiah 6. There'll be quite a bit of Jeremiah. And I'm going to read verse 15 through 19. And it reads, "Were they ashamed when they had committed abominations? Nay," he said, no, that our people weren't ashamed. They were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Therefore they shall fall among them that fall. At the time that I visit them, they shall be they shall be cast down, saith the Lord. And he's not talking about coming to give people tea and coffee. That's not the visitation he's talking about. When he pays people that visit, he's going to pay them a visit that they're not looking for. Verse 16, and it reads, "Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways, and see and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein." He's saying you need to go back to the way it was from the beginning, how he did it with Moses, Adam, Abraham, how we were doing it, keeping the laws, the statutes, the commandments, doing everything according to his will. Where'd I leave off? Verse 17. "Also I set a watchman over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken." And hearken just means to listen. And our people, they're just stiff-necked and hard-headed. They don't want to listen. Verse 18. "Therefore hear ye, nations, and know, O congregation, what is among them." Verse 19. "Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not hearkened unto my words, nor to my law, but rejected it." So he knows the imaginations and the thoughts of our heart. He gets deep down. He trieth the reins of the hearts. So he knows even the things we're thinking. And from there, I'm going to stay in Jeremiah 6. I'm just going to jump over to verse 10. And then it reads, "To whom shall I speak and give warning, that they may hear? Behold, their ear is uncircumcised, and they cannot hearken. Behold, the word of the Lord is unto them a reproach. They have no delight in it." So he said our people just don't like, they hate it. They despise these words. They have no delight in it. But this is what's good for them. And from there, I'm going to go to Jeremiah 5, verse 14. And it reads, "Wherefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, because you speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them." This word is sharp and it's powerful. It's sharper than any two-edged sword. And it gets deep down into the bone and the marrow. And see, the prophet Jeremiah was going through a lot of persecution. This is why he was pleading so hard in that Babylonian captivity. He was going through a lot. Like we're going through a lot in this Babylon, this spiritual Egypt. And from there, I'm going to stay in Jeremiah. I'm going to jump over to Jeremiah chapter 2. And I'm going to read verse 13 through 14. And it reads, "For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water." So a cistern is like an underground water pipe that's broken, that just can't hold. Our people hear the words, but they won't retain it. That's what he's saying. Then he said, verse 14, he reads, "Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?" So the Lord is asking, why are you enjoying all this oppression? Why are you accepting all this when you can have the abundance of all things? And from there, I'm going to go to Jeremiah 2, verse 13 through 14. And it reads, Jeremiah 2, I just read that one, verse 21 through 23, and it reads, "Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine, unto me. So he's saying, how did you go off so far? How did you go astray and come this degenerate plant when you were a holy people? How did this happen? The Lord is asking. Verse 22, for though thou wash thee with nitre, and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith the Lord Yahweh. He said, if I wash you clean and do all these things for you, yet you're still going against me. You're transgressing against me. And from there, I'm going to go stay in the book Jeremiah chapter 2. I'm going to go to verse 26 through 29, and it reads, as the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Yasharallah ashamed that their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets. He says they're going to be ashamed too. Verse 27, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. Now he's getting into the cobblestone and to the Christianity, the cross. That's what he's talking about here. And then he said, for they have turned their backs unto me, and not their face, but in the time but in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. They're going to be asking for the Lord to help save them on that day. But now Solomon comes into play. Proverbs chapter 1, where he said, they're going to call upon me, but I'm going to laugh at their calamity on that day, because they wanted none of the counsel. They didn't fear none. They wanted none of his correction, none of his reproofs. So that's why he said that through Solomon in Proverbs 1. He's going to be laughing at the time of their calamity. And then it reads, verse 28, it reads, but where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of the cities are thy gods, O Judah. And Judah they were in the transgressions. The southern and the northern kingdom was both at fault here. And verse 29, wherefore will you plead with me? You all have transgressed against me, saith the Lord. Southern and northern kingdom. That's what he's saying there. And from there, I'm going to go to Jeremiah chapter 6. And I'm going to read verse 2. And it reads, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. Because we're married. We're married to Yahushua. That's why he said he's jealous over us. Because we're supposed to be walking in agreement, like he said in Amos. Can two walk together unless they be in agreed? We have to be walking in agreement, like a marriage. That's why he's saying this. And from there, I'm going to go to the book of Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 14. And that reads, turn, Salakia, turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, Yahweh, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and will bring you to Zion. See, this has been a covenant that we made from the beginning. Like they said when Moses came back from Mount Sinai and Horeb, said, all these laws we will do. Our people agreed. But then they turned their back. And then it says in verse 15, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding according to his doctrine. Not idolatry, no other doctrine. This is according to his doctrine. And from there, I'm gonna go to Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 13 through 14, and it reads, behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariot shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. So now he's saying destruction unto us if we're not ready. That's why he said, be ready in season and out of season. Verse 14, O Jerusalem, now he's talking to all Yasharallah, wash thine heart from wickedness, that thou mayest be saved. How long shall thy vain thoughts lodge within thee? He's like, how long are you going to stay in this reprobate mind? How long are you going to keep on going against my laws, statutes, and commandments? And from there, I'm going to go to Isaiah 66. Just a couple more. Isaiah 66. verse 15 through 18. Isaiah 66, we're right at the end now. Verse 15 through 18, and it reads, For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. It said it in Jeremiah too. He's talking about the chariots. We were just reading that. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So this is how he's going to plead with the people here. He's going to be smiting. He's going to be killing. And verse 17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst eating swine's flesh, and the abominations and the mouth shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. So all those pastors in those churches eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, they're going to all he's going to smite them all. Verse 18, For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. So he's going to take care of all his adversaries on that day. Isaiah 66, verse 22 to 24, and it reads, For as the new heavens and the new earth which I will make shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. This is talking about the kingdom. Everybody's going to have to get with the program, or that's when Luke's going to come into place to play if they don't do it. He said, For those mine enemies that would not that I should reign over them, bring them hither and slay them before me. Verse 24, And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring to all flesh. They're going to be hated, because everybody's going to be looking at them and say, those are all the people that's laying there dead that transgressed against the Most High. And with that, I'm going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, Shalom.